back here on Liquid Lunch, and we've got Jan Francis, Heather Goodall, and Mallory Mandelitis here from Eastside Players. Great to have you guys on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.
Now,
I can tell you something right off the top. Mallory, you must have a lot of mistakes with your last name.
I do.
And you know what? My last name is quite a long name, too. And so I say it because it's agonizing to constantly correcting people like you.
but it's only 3 syllables.
And
your
you know
name.
what?
It's easy.
But still. So I've changed my name to Smith. So now people call me Smith Lakovsky. I
I'll
guess
have
the
to
trick
come
is
up
to
with
switch
something.
it and put it to the end. Yeah, so anyways, you guys are with the Eastside Players.
We are.
Tell us something about this wonderful company.
Well, Eastside Players are one of the longest running community theatre groups in Toronto. We've been running for 44 years. And
Longer than I've been alive.
well, me too, of course.
Yeah.
You know. We've been playing out of the Paper Mill Theatre at Todmorden Mills now for most of that time. And we put on award-winning shows, and we have, great fun doing it. But we are all volunteers, and anything we can do to get some more people down to see our wonderful shows.
Well, I heard you guys used to live in that theater and have sex there sometimes.
That was a rumor.
Just had to say that because it's a sex show today.
I know.
How many seats does Todmorden Mills?
164.
164.
It's a really nice theater. I've been there, Marla.
I've been there many times, many times. I was the one having sex there.
That's how the rumors
Did
got
you
started.
usually sell out? Because I know you have regulars that come no matter what.
We are quite successful on quite a few of our nights. We have good sellouts, but we can still always do with more patrons.
Yeah, of course.
Is it
Oh,
up
oh.
to date technically in that theater now that they've renovated?
Yes, I say that with reservation
Yes, you
because
were.
it's technically up to date within the bounds of that building. So we do quite well. But it's not very big, and there are quite a lot of restrictions because it's a heritage building, so they weren't allowed to do some of the things that they maybe could have done if they'd have been able to knock a wall out here or there. But yes, it's much better since it's been renovated.
Good.
Yeah, it's a nice room. Feels good to be there.
Beautiful.
Now, you guys are doing this all. We were talking about it before we came on. You have no government subsidies. You guys are doing this all.
That's
as
correct.
Just as for the love of doing it.
Yep. We're a not-for-profit. We do have our charitable status. We've been trying the last 2 or 3 years to get some corporate sponsors, and we've had some small success, but mostly we operate through ticket revenue.
So, of course, we want people to come and see this
We do.
new production, Lettice and Lovage. And you're the director, Jan. What
I am.
did you, who picked this particular play? And I don't know anything about it, so maybe you can tell us a little bit about
Okay.
this play.
Well, our process is, as a group, we have a play reading committee that follow the mandate. We kind of have a mandate within the group of the type of plays that we'd like to do. They read a bunch of plays, hand them over to the executive, and then three plays are picked from that 6 plays that got to the last final 6. And so I did not pick the play personally, but did I choose it to direct? Yes.
So, are you always directing, or do you guys rotate, or how do you do that?
We do rotate. We have a corral of directors, and what we have when the 3 plays are announced, the directors get to read them, and we have to do a presentation to the executive.
Right. Okay.
Are you ever an actor?
I used to be an actor, and
But-
I stepped across the
So-
line a long time ago. But last year I did do a little cameo role in one of our shows.
Oh, okay.
But usually I direct.
But usually you just stick to directing,
I
not
do.
one year you do acting
no,
and another you
no,
do
I
directing.
don't normally. No.
So when you're not directing, you're doing what?
I'll produce. I'll produce a show, or I've been on the board. And,
Okay.
it's all hands to the deck.
And what kind of hours are involved in rehearsals for a play that is not subsidized, that nobody's getting a salary? What kind of hours is expected of a member?
I guess I should have made a little calculation on that. But we rehearse roughly 8 weeks, 2 evenings a week and Sunday
hours a week,
afternoons. And then there's all the outside of rehearsal time that we put together, that we spend.
I think when you're involved in a show, you commit wholeheartedly. We do it because we love it. And I would say probably on an average, it's about a 3-month investment per show. I mean, as Jan says, you're not just showing up for rehearsal and doing your work there. You do a lot of book work, you do a lot of work at home, learning your lines, bonding as we have. And it's just, we're there because we want to be there. It's a passion. And so there's no feeling of, another rehearsal or putting in too much time. It's just something we love to do. And because we all have our regular jobs to pay the bills.
Now, were you all at one time professional actors and just realized, you know what, I'm not making enough money, I have to get a straight job and do my passion on the side? Is that the case for most actors? Heather?
I've never worked professionally, no.
You've never worked professionally?
No. I went
Nor
to
have
theatre
I.
school in Montreal, and it was difficult to work in community theatre there because of, most of the
Language?
theatre is French, yes. And then when I moved to Toronto, the community theatre here is so vast and rich that I was able to, work with different groups, and then started with this amazing company last year with my first production. And they're really a cut above. They're an extraordinarily professional company.
Definitely.
I mean, you really, you don't see much difference between them and the professional companies. Really,
No,
they're
you don't.
extraordinary.
If you had your wish, Heather, would you like to do acting full time?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
Very
my
good.
passion. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
you?
did.
And you?
I did actually when I was back in the 70s. It was something that I knew I wanted to do, and I did the singing, acting, dancing. And then married, had my children, took a little break, and came back into community theatre. I think community theatre offers you a wonderful venue to play a multitude of terrific roles that you probably would never, or I know would never get to play if you stay in the
Absolutely.
professional field. And I think we approach it in no less a professional manner. We don't, at least from what I know with Eastside, and I've been involved with Eastside for a few years now, and Jan and I have worked together
For a
before.
long time.
We go into it, as I said, the commitment is there, and it's a professional commitment right from the start. So I think you'll find a lot of our audience is walking away saying that is as good, and that's not me being vain, it's just a fact. We work hard at what we do and create a very professional product.
Absolutely, I would agree with you. What is your best known play that you've put on in the last 40 years?
Me personally?
No,
Oh,
you as a
at
company.
Eastside.
As a
At
company?
Eastside,
Yeah.
Oh Lord, I would say we've had a few of those actually. I wouldn't.
Name them.
We've done. For myself, I can say Mary Stewart because I directed that,
And one best director.
and I won Best Director at the ATCO Festival for that. We've done Laughter on the 21st Floor. We've done a couple of wonderful Noel Cowds, Waiting in the Wings, and then just recently
Present Laughter.
Tartuffe. We've put on some, and that's all in, and I'm sure that there are lots more.
I'm sure.
There is a website actually, eastsideplayers.ca. It's a good spot to actually see a little bit about the history of the company, the shows we have done in the past, and it's also the best place to buy tickets for the show, which does open October 27th. So we're getting very
2
close
weeks tonight.
to our
Yes,
opening.
2
Whoa.
weeks tonight, you'll be
2
opening
weeks
for the
tonight.
play Lettice and
Lovage. It's a Peter Shaffer play. He wrote Amadeus and Equus. He's a wonderful writer.
And he
You
likes
wrote
horses.
Atlas?
Yes, he did.
Yes.
I've directed that show.
And I
actually.
was in that one, so
Really?
funnily
Which
enough.
part did you
seen
play?
it.
Yeah.
Which
mother.
part did you play?
I played the role of the mother in
Ah.
Equus, and Jan was my director.
Is that a 3-person play?
No.
Oh, no. It's
No.
very intricate, and but again, he's a great writer. This particular show is a wonderful piece of work, and predominantly about Lettice and myself, a relationship between two very strong women, but strong for very different reasons, and a very unlikely friendship develops.
And what is the relationship?
Don't give
In
away
a
too
nutshell.
much.
I can't.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell,
Just in a nutshell.
Come see it.
Lettice is an eccentric tour guide, and Lotta is actually her employer. And there's a little clash, and after
what
that,
happens.
and it's what happens after that.
Right. Well, that's it. That's a
And-
nutshell. Well, you need to give people something. You can't just say, just
Absolutely.
come see my play.
No,
Just
no,
to
no,
let
it's
you know.
wonderful. And it's and
Gotta give
they
us something.
develop a friendship, and a very unlikely friendship. And the end of that friendship is quite a surprise, and it's quite lovely.
It's a very funny play. The language is beautiful. It's very
Yes.
British.
So is it comedy?
Yes.
Is there drama?
There's poignancy
yeah,
to
there
it.
certainly
There
is.
are
Yeah,
some
very
lovely
much so.
subtleties. It's truly a beautifully developed and well-written play.
Okay.
But, yeah.
I want to ask a question here because I'm reading your material here. It says the two women who forge an alliance to awaken their fellow citizens to the dreariness of modern life. So that's what you guys do as characters in the play? You're awakening everyone?
It's set in the 1980s in England, in a time when the architecture that was going up was dreary, was very uncreative. It's
And they use that as an analogy.
yes, we use
Actually.
yes to awaken our
Yeah.
spirits, if you will,
Versus the
all
romance
ways.
and beauty of the past.
Including sexuality?
I knew you were going there.
I have to. It's in my contract.
There's really none in this play.
No, there isn't.
No.
No, sorry.
Okay.
What is the demographics of your audience?
It's probably the east
a
end of the
mix,
city. It's a
yeah.
big mix.
Yeah.
Big mix. We have some, we have a lot of subscribers who've been coming for a very, very long time, who are in the local area, and it's
But from all over the
but
city.
from all over
really
the
from
city.
all over.
Yeah,
You know, I wanted
East
to
Side has
ask-
a great reputation, so it draws from
yeah.
a big
and you're
pool.
not- people can get there easy. It's right off the DVP, right?
Yes.
But I want to ask you because, like, I grew up in a small town. I'm not from Toronto originally, and some of my fondest theatrical memories when I was a kid was going to see community theater, and some of those experiences really stand out for me. But it seems to me community theater in a small town is a natural because everybody in the town, it may be their only chance to go and see some theater and that sort of thing.
That's correct.
And here you are as a community theater in the big city, and you know, who is the community? Is it the geographical community around Todd Morton Mills, or you mentioned you reach out around, but how do you connect to your community in a big city like Toronto?
I think East Side has a reputation. I believe it's 44 years, you said, that they've been in existence. And so you build that database. Word gets around, and I think word of mouth is the
Yes.
best advertising. And as I said, the quality of shows that the company puts on speak for itself as well. So, you know, you'll have the longtime subscribers who then, you know, their families are
live locally,
growing and
yeah.
they bring them, and then word of mouth spreads. It's, yes, it's a big city, but I think there's a lot of people out there who are strong supporters of the arts, and they will find us, and we will reach out to them, and that's why I think our audience base is so wide and varied. We're always looking to build that audience base. So what I found Eastside does is, rather than do the traditional plays, comedies, dramas, they'll do a stretch piece or something that will just stir things up a little and not play down to our audience. We like to
take a
do
risk.
take
that's
something that
pretty good.
takes a risk.
Now, is this play risky?
Yes, a little,
How?
In some ways.
because it is very wordy. It's going to demand the audience's attention, and it's certainly not a piece of fluff.
Yeah.
Right.
Has great depth.
And we like to challenge the
Yes, we
audience
do.
as well as our members.
And we find our audiences like to be challenged. They enjoy the challenge,
Yeah.
and then, so,
I would think I would enjoy the challenge.
good.
We'll see you there.
Yeah. Now, actually, Mallory, you mentioned one of the things about being in a company like this is the bonding that happens throughout the production.
Mhm.
Now, I would think that bonding has to be with someone new. Now, when you're bonding here, is it mostly with Heather, who plays Lettice, or?
A wonderful friendship is developing, I'm very happy to say, yes. I think when you're on stage with someone, no matter what show you're playing, you're vulnerable. You open yourself to whatever your director asks you to do, and the more open and honest you become, the better your performance. That's my belief. In that process, you can't help but connect yourself not just to your fellow actors, but to everyone involved in the show. As I said, you're investing 3 months minimum of your time. They become a second family.
But I know, but I'm thinking you probably already know these people if you've been
Some
in
you
the company
do.
for
We've
a
never
while.
met. We never
We've
met
never
before
met.
Heather
our
and
first
Mallory
rehearsal.
had never worked
All right.
together
Some,
before.
yes.
Yeah.
And that's a wonderful reunion.
Yeah.
And then a whole different dynamic will happen. You know, you don't always stay in touch with everyone after a show as much as you would like to. It's just not possible. But you reunite sometimes in another show in another capacity, and it's great. It's like coming home.
Plus, I can see, you think you have a certain kind of relationship with somebody, then you get into a different kind of relationship based on your roles in a different play, and things could go off all in a whole new direction.
Well, it's
This is
interesting that
true.
you say that because I think the best theater is when people have good chemistry.
Yeah.
And you don't always
Absolutely.
have good chemistry with the other actor. You know, it's really, you just don't know until you start a rehearsal. Now, we happen to have amazing chemistry on stage, so that's going to really make this play come alive. And we were fortunate that way.
I think
But it
that's
doesn't always work that way.
that's a really important point. I mean,
It makes it so much easier.
It
But
does.
as a director, though,
Yeah.
I look for that,
Yeah.
particularly in this play. Part of the audition process was for me to bring the possible people that could play these roles together and see what kind of spark I was going to get at what we call the callbacks.
Yeah.
And I knew in here that this was, I hope, that this was going to work, and it did. It was evident from the second they started to, and it was cold reading. They had the script, they'd never met one another, they had been out to audition on 2 different nights, and I pretty much, the spark was there, and I thought, this is going to work, and it has.
Thank
It's
you.
been a delight.
I think it's really important because you can see it on TV sometimes. Like, for
Yes.
example, the early Seinfelds, they hadn't developed their chemistry yet, and then as the show went on, you could just tell they were having so much fun. And
Yes.
as an audience member, I'm having fun too. And other shows, you see that in other shows. And so I just think I think it applies to anything, whether it's a rock band or so many things. You
Yes.
got to have that chemistry, and if that chemistry is there, then the audience will be able to participate in it.
Absolutely.
It's
So
all that.
do you have to audition for every play that comes up?
Yes.
And some of them, like the Heather and Mallory, will not get an opportunity to be in the next play necessarily if they're not picked?
Not necessarily, yeah.
Yeah, so there's no guarantee. You
It
might
depends
not
on
even
the
get to
director.
And
act
it
in
depends
an
on the
entire
director,
season.
and it also depends on the roles that are available.
And who comes out to
You know,
audition
who comes out to
sometimes.
audition
No,
for those.
yeah.
And I knew I was looking for 2 women that weren't 22 for these 2 roles, and that frankly had the acting chops, and I was looking for that spark. Otherwise, this would not have taken off. It's-
Eastside does have a
good-
wealth
yeah.
of very, very talented actors
In the
and-
company.
in
Yeah.
the company. So it's always nice to draw in new talent, but there are some very accomplished performers, and I don't just say performers, directors, production crew.
Set
I mean,
designers.
there is
Oh,
so much
the
into
technical
putting
is
the show.
amazing in this company.
It's not just
Yeah.
about us. So,
We're the face that you see on stage, but there's so much that goes on behind the scenes, and they're so professional and so creative and so talented.
yeah.
What about wardrobe? Is there a budget for wardrobe at all?
Yes, and we actually do use an external company for our costumes. It's the only thing that we do actually pay for.
Is the lighting person paid for?
Nope, no one else is paid.
That's
The
a
set
lot.
designer, the lighting designer, the construction people, the sound designer, and over and above the rehearsals, not tooting my own horn, but I have to work with all of those outside of the rehearsal period to kind of convey my vision, and we work together, and then they're working, and you know, to bring the whole thing together.
Wow.
So is there a producer too, or it sounds like
Yes.
you're the producer
No,
because
no,
you're
the
doing a lot of
producer.
that?
You know, the director is the artistic eye.
Yeah.
To make it simple,
Yeah.
and the producer is the business person. Handles the money, makes sure that all those people are in place, and follows the thing through. Makes sure we've got the truck
Yeah.
on Sunday to go and load the set, and you know, and the team to unload it, and so on and so forth.
That's great. Okay, so it starts October 27th.
It does.
2 weeks tonight,
And how many performances are there
run
going
for
to be?
3 weeks.
13.
13 performances
And
over 3
matinees.
weeks.
Matinees on
Yes.
Sundays
Sunday.
and
Sunday,
Saturdays,
yes.
or
We
just
run
Sundays?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday the first week. We start again on Wednesday the following week and run through to Sunday. And then the last week we run Wednesday through to Saturday, the 12th of November.
But again,
And-
all that information is on Eastside's
Right.
It's on our
website.
website.
Right, and the
that's-
matinees are only on Sundays?
Yes, eastsideplayers.ca.
.ca.
Is that
And we
where-
do have a box office. You can, if
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
have a computer, we have a box office.
Where's the
And-
box office? You
And
can
the
phone
number
the box office.
is 416
425-0917.
Thank you.
Now, how much are tickets?
$20.
$20.
Just $20. And in actual fact, this is our first show of the season. And if you come to see this show and buy a single ticket, you can actually turn that single ticket into a subscription for the next 2 shows for another $30.
That's a pretty good deal.
That is
Pretty
a
good deal.
best deal
It's the
in
best deal
city.
in town.
You've got some smart marketing people working for you. Who came up with that idea?
I'm not sure, but it is brilliant.
Okay, guys. So October 27th for a 3-week period. Eastsideplayers.ca. Can people get tickets on the website too?
Yes.
Yes.
There's a big click online tickets, buy tickets here.
Awesome. Okay, guys. Thanks for coming in.
Thank
Thank
you.
Good luck
for
with
Thank you
this.
for having us.
And we look forward to the next production after
Wonderful.
this one.
And
you
we
can
hope
come
you
back
come
and
and
let us
see
know
the
about
show.
that. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
Let's take a quick break, Marla, and we're going to come back with Michael Vipperman. And we get back to the sex and the drugs right after this.
Did you see how red my cheeks were?
Rest on the steps of the village gate. The sound of the town swings to and fro. The weight of the trip can't lay me low. Oh no. Now I see our hate, I see our love. A single star, it shines up above. Tells me that we're gonna make it through. Although the body and breast and the earth may die,